Welcome to you all from the International Organization Development Association. My name is Mark Silverman. This is the third in a series of interviews on conflict resolution and healing. This program is brought to you by the Saul A. Silverman Endowment Fund. I'm here today with two dear friends of mine, Hans Picker and Bertha Lucia Frias, who reside in Colombia. Hans is originally from Chile, Bertha is from Colombia, and they have been working in the fields of values and organization development for many years. As you probably know, there has been for over 50 years a deep armed conflict going on between several Colombian guerrilla groups on one hand and the general population of Colombia on the other. As you also probably know, there is a signed peace agreement. And as you probably imagine, there are still very deep feelings of hurt, anger, and grief. How can these deep feelings be transformed? How can this country heal from these wounds? Can they truly construct peace? What tools help? Hans and Bertha have created and implemented a quite innovative program of peace building focused on transforming encounters. Their program comes from their own personal history, their passion, and from their heart. Hans, Bertha, welcome. And thank you so much for taking this moment to talk with us a little bit about your experience and your program. So first, of course, let us begin by your telling us a little bit about the program and its birth.
Okay. Hi, Mark. Thank you for having us.
Hi, Mark. Thanks to be here. This is a fantastic initiative that you have.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have some slides that will help us to make a little presentation. It's a very little one. First of all, the project we call Project Transformative Encounter. And here we are. We are specialized in transformative process. And you mentioned how we get involved in this peace process. I was in the Club Nogal in Bogota, Colombia. And in 2003, there was a car bomb that was detonated there. I was very bad injured. And 36 people died and 198 were wounded. My spine dorsal was broken and my diagnosis was quadriplegic. I was going to be quadriplegic. During 8 years and a half, I had to go through a lot of things because what happened with me is that this a wall came on top of me, broke this part of my spine, and only I could move 3 fingers. This was the most important impact that the guerrilla made in the capital, in Bogota, and in the country. This was the huge one. So because of this was a very important, and the target was for politicians, for very healthy people, for the top of the line in some way of the people in Bogota and in the country.
Right.
Okay, so what happened? I have different options. At the beginning, I hate, this is the face, I hate the guerrilla. I hate them and say, why? Why they put this car bomb? Why? I was one of the wounded. And during 8 years, I have a process of recover. Then I began, when I came back to Colombia, I was living at Boston. I have the opportunity to begin to talk with some of the ex-combatants, and my mind make a switch. I began to talk about reconciliation. No matter what, I say, I am not going to hate, and I am going to reconcile with these guys, with the ex-combatants, with the guerrilla.
Bertha, can you say something about what made that switch inside you where you decided to move from hate to reconciliation?
I had the opportunity to talk with perhaps 400 ex-combatants. And during this process, I learned, and I asked them, what, if you have the opportunity to have a victim in front of you, what are you going to say to this victim? I know they say, I want to ask for pardon. But the other thing they say, and I also want to tell my story. And the story that they began to tell me was, first, we are isolated in the middle of nowhere in the country. We don't have water, electricity, food. And the only way that they think they could solve the problem was going, being part of the guerrilla or the paramilitary. So for me, it was a big switch, and I say, hey, they are also victims. And I began saying, they are victims, and I am victim.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
And they are victims of what?
They are victims of the state is not present. The state doesn't care about these poor people that live around the countryside. Therefore, they don't have any opportunity. The only opportunity that they saw that they could have was going and work with the guerrilla or the paramilitary, not other possibility they have.
And also, I mean, to support the mother, you know, very poor people, and the guerrilla would take care about everything.
Mm-hmm.
Food, clothing, you know, health, and so things that the government was not providing in those areas. And the mother.
So in a sense, the guerrilla groups were offering these deeply poor and forgotten people a home.
Exactly. And a family.
Yeah.
That's why they say it was a family, you know. They were taken care of in the most incredible way. Education, they got education. They were taught there, you know. So they were replacing the state. They were replacing the government.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned at the beginning, we have the state, the guerrilla, FARC, paramilitary, civil society. There was an armed conflict during 50 years and 9 million victims. This is in the world, we have the number most bigger of all the victims and the different conflicts. The peace agreement was in November 2016. So one of the things that began to happen is that, as I mentioned, I listen to the reinserted armed groups, and I get involved in the peace process at the level that I decide to go to the places where the guerrilla live. I went to the places where they were living. And this was very important for me because I learned about their thinking, their ideology, their feelings coming from I was ex-combatant, guerrilla, and I am going to be ex-combatant.
A transformation from guerrilla to citizen.
And I must say that something very important happened in their minds when I was there. And I say, you know what? At the beginning, they didn't know that I was a victim. They thought that I was one of them. I was dressing as they were dressing, yeah. And I say in some moment, you know, you hurt me and you hurt my family, and there were 36 people that died, 198 people wounded in this car bomb attack at Nogal. And they were seeing like this, my face when I was explaining what happened to me during 8 years. And at the end, they say, pardon, please, and say to your husband and to your son, pardon. And then the women began with tears in their eyes saying, please, pardon, pardon, pardon.
So you were able to move beyond the level of the roles into the human level.
Exactly.
So they were able to experience your humanness and your pain, just as you were able to experience their life and some of the pain in their existence. Is that a fair statement?
Exactly.
Very
I stopped perceiving as guerrilla and I start to perceiving them as human being. That's right. Exactly. Exactly. And as I represent the victims from the Nobel Club, and we signed an agreement. So we were saying we are going to do some things together with the guerrilla.
This man signing this thing there is a high commander of the guerrilla. Mm-hmm.
And right now he's in the Congress.
Yeah.
He's in the Congress.
He's a senator now.
Mm-hmm. Can you say a little bit about, because I know that there are a number of professionals in the field of organization development who are going to be interested in this video. Can you say a little bit from the perspective of organization development and change, how that theory influenced your work?
So we decided, we were working in the OD, in the process of transformation, change and transformation. But with this peace process, we decided to begin working, making encounters between victims and victimizers. So this was a huge problem that I decided to go through. So this is a little example. We went and we worked with FARC ex-combatants, victims, but this was very special ones because these were military amputee due to the detonation of mines. What we do with these guys, okay? And why don't you explain?
Well, actually, Mark, we have had many different experiences, you know, but all of them had something in common, which was the victim and the victimizer. And there are different types of victims, you know, either it's mothers, it's military, you know, civil society, and so
sex abuse,
women, and so forth. And even more, I mean, victimizers with top level executives, owners of big businesses here, even that, you know. So this is just one case, and this is a case where we put together mothers of young sons who were taken by the military and put just like that into the battlefield with no more than 2 months of training. And then, of course, I mean, they suffered a lot, you see. So that's the case that we chose for this conversation.
So going back with one of your questions, how do you deal with the type of the emotions that participants bring to these encounters? And this is the way that we began working with change and transformation. At the beginning, they have to go through the past, and that is part of the methodology. This is one part, because there are a lot of methodologies that we work doing 2 days or 3 days, whatever. And one part is how they are, and the way that people make relations, and how they are going to make the relation right now when they are going to meet with the guerrilla. So one of the things that we work very hard is empathy. The way that they are going to talk with them, the way that they are going to hear them, the way they are going to react to them, the way that they are going to work their emotions, and the way that to control themselves as part of the process to have an excellent way of relate with people.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you've learned.
Nothing happens without empathy. Nothing.
Oh, yeah, I understand empathy, that word. Okay.
Actually, what we have learned from organizational work is, in general, among other things, of course, is you cannot have an organization jump right into change. You have to prepare them.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know, and it's like if I'm gonna, go to the top of the Mount Everest, it's not something I'm gonna do tomorrow. I have to get ready for that. And that's what we do with the people. They have to get ready to talk to each other. And this is a very important part of the methodology.
Yes, it helps me a lot because I'm such an impatient person. And we live in such an impatient world, and the virus maybe is teaching us something about that we all need a little patience.
Right. I know. A little bit of meditation,
I think we need to bring our meeting to a close.
Okay.
I will, if you want to just say a few closing words, and we'll come to a stop.
As I mentioned, these guys rejected at the beginning to be in contact with the ex-combatants. But when these guys came in, the day that they have to come in, and I have to say also one thing, is that we also prepare the FARC guys, the combatants. So we prepare victims and we prepare the ex-combatants. So this is like a marriage. They are going to have a beautiful marriage. So one of the results is,
oh, this is wonderful.
One of the results is, and this is in the practice that we could see, mothers that are here that lost military sons, also disabled guys, and right now they are all together. And here is Timochenko, the commander-in-chief of the guerrilla, Timochenko. And here there are a lot of ex-combatants in this photo.
There's Bertha, Lucia, see?
I'm here, okay. And this guy that is in the wheelchair, of course, he's a soldier. This is an ex-combatant right now. She's in the Congress. And they signed an agreement, all of them.
Forgiveness pact.
A forgiveness pact. So if you see what happened, it's very interesting. They are prepared, and at the end, when we finish all this, hugs, tears, when are going to see us again. And this was in February. And 2 months ago, and this is amazing, the ex-combatants helped this guy that is in the wheelchair. He doesn't have social security. And the ex-combatants, the ex-guerrilla, with their lawyers, they have right now resolved this problem. So it's incredible. They were in the combat, and right now they are solving the problem. So, and this goes all around the country, in this picture and this situation, because it was incredible.
In the wheelchair.
So that is something that is very important to mention.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I've seen people, I mean, transform in the most incredible way, you know, and myself, you see, is when I get together with these people, I've absolutely nothing against them, but
Exactly.
but just nothing. To me, it's a human being with whom I can talk in the most normal way. No apprehension whatsoever. Not that I accept what they did. By no means, you know.
That's right. That is very important. We do not accept.
We don't accept. I mean, we don't
violence.
justify what they did. It's not that. But yeah, it's a fact that there are people. I'm another human being, and now we can really exchange. We can feel each other, what makes us feel, even what you like, what you don't like. We are human beings. We are all the same, and in the very, very essence, we are all the same. Mm-hmm. And to me, has been a tremendous thing.
There's something about the human, where we have the possibility of some of the worst, of creating the worst of the kind of experience in the human or animal kingdom, that we can gather together for harm and for war and for the infliction of tremendous pain and genocide, etc. Of course, the opposite is also true, that we can also create magnificent benefit. And in the middle of these extremes is the possibility of dialogue, the possibility of the acceptance of diversity, of differences, of finding ways of dialogue, of deep respect of each other's experience. I am a deep believer that it is due to the kinds of programs that you are creating that helps create that kind of reality. So thank you so much for your work. Thank you for your sharing. I hope we can all benefit from this and carry on. Carry on. Thank you very much.
Thanks to you to give us this opportunity.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.